Good evening, everyone. Welcome to CatSCAN News Live. And for those of you just joining us, oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, Texas time is what counts. And hello. Yeah, I haven't done my news things in a couple days, so I have a lot to get done. But that's why I'm doing a late one and earlier than usual because I gotta catch up. So, thank you for stopping by. And yeah, as what we're saying. Oh, yeah. For those of you just joining us, it is CatSCAN News because I scan the internet looking for news. Except this time there was such a backlog since I've done this for a couple of days. I have lots of stuff to do, and I want to hurry up and get it done now. But first things first, this is very important to me. Yeah, I tried to make the ads as low as possible, but oh well. I think I did it because I don't like the stupid ads, and like I said, I just made them as small as I could. Uh, okay. Yeah, I tried to limit the amount of ads, but they still want you to have ads, and so I just whatever the smallest amount of ads I could have, I did, I think. Okay, first things first. I already saw this earlier today, but it is very important. I don't, and I won't be using this for that. Yeah. Yeah, ads are so annoying. Oh, and every ad I see, it makes me not want to buy the product, but also send them an angry email telling them why I don't want their product because the ads are annoying. But I haven't done that yet. So, uh, oh, yeah. Oh. Hey, I said I thought about it. I didn't say I did it. But let's see, where's my... Okay, now let's get to the first story. And like I said, this one I watched earlier already, but it's very important, not for this model, but for my other two, because they're not the finished product I want, and now I think there is a solution. And I believe this is 11 minutes long, so we're going to watch it. And this is... Yeah, okay, you are getting my sloppy second reacts to this, sorry. Well, actually, I knew about it before I saw the video, because I saw the post, and yeah, I'm blabbering, so let's get busy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Leaflet here. I'm making a new VTuber system that is between PNG tubing
Let's just see if I make it full
live TD. And what it is it's a...
Well, I don't think if I make it full screen, I don't know if it'll show up. So I'm gonna, and I don't know how to make it bigger. Let me check something.
tracked model that only has specific states that captures your voice and your...
Let's see, so this way. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, good. Oh, and crap, I'm in the way. Just a minute.
Hey, what's up, guys? Leaflet here. I'm making a new VTuber system that is between PNG tubing and live TD. And what it is it's a tracked model that only has specific states that captures your voice and your emotive state. And what it does is it allows you to be more expressive as a PNG tuber, and also allows you to do really, really cool emotes and do them really, really, really fast. So a little bit of context. I can make these models in under an hour, including a bunch of emotes with them, and anyone can do it once we have the system set up. So the system goes like straight from concept. It has all of the tools like to key everything and to set up everything and to export everything. The system also uses it doesn't use GIFs. You can use GIFs, but we don't have it set up. We don't use GIFs because they're too heavy, like they're way too big, and GIFs blow up people's computers. They're just too they're too taxing on computers. So this is a completely different system that we have here. Anyway, so as you can see, it does measure like my emotive state. So if I smile, you can see that it will smile like this. And then my neutral, if I'm in neutral. And then if I frown, it will change like the state. And each like change state actually has a different speaking animation as well.
And yeah, you notice it's kind of buggy because this is not the finished product. This is just done enough to show us the beta, basically.
So you can see I have a neutral speaking animation, I have an upset speaking animation, I've got a happy speaking animation, and if you're surprised, it even tracks your surprise, which also has its own animation, right? Not only that, it also tracks like if you you could do like a little facepalm emote as well, and it also has typing, so you can typing makes a very distinct sound. So you can rig it up to also check for typing if you have problems with that, like if your microphone is near your keyboard or something like that. Now to go on to emotes, it has a pretty comprehensive emote system. So it's got multiple types of emotes. So it's got some emotes that just play a straight up animation. So I'll show one like that. I have a thank you animation. So that's like our first type of animation. And we also have a type 2 animation in which it transitions you to a state in like which you can either load new animations, but it changes your idle. So for instance, I've got like dance ones, right, where if I hit like a dance, or we'll do 6-7. So I do like a little 6-7 here,
Yeah.
and it will just stay in this state
Okay, I don't
basically
know who asked for
infinitely
6-7 though. I
until
will say
I
that.
decide to end it. There's also other ones that have emotes within emotes, and they can get really complicated. Like here, I'll show one here. Well, first off, I'll talk more about type 1 emotes. They can also have sound. So you can add a bunch of these ones that have sounds. And you can do a lot of really fun things with it.
Yeah.
They're really great for doing AFKs. So if you need to go AFK, you just be like, peace out, chat. And
Oh, yes, and I do have AFK videos. Just a minute. Yeah, I forgot to use the one today for my stream. Yeah, just upload it. Yeah. Can I switch for a minute to my AFK video? Well, for my green-haired model. Yeah, that is my AFK. I just make little videos for it. But yeah, the smoke bomb disappearing thing is
you can press it to come back.
funny. I need some more smoke bombs. Like
However you set it up, really.
firework
And then
smoke
we've got
bombs.
things like this. that completely change your idle state. And as you can see, I can talk in this. If I stop talking, it'll also stop talking. And these things you can actually connect other sub emotes to as well. And then it has a little it resets as well if you press it again, just depending on how you set it up, if you would like an outro animation for that. And they can get pretty complicated and pretty long. Like you can kind of shift positions as well within the canvas.
We live on stolen land! No! Not a jump! Ah!
So you can do all sorts of really, really fun stuff. And this one also has its own talking animation as well. All right. And it's really fast to switch models as well.
Yeah, that would be very easy for me. Very useful for me to know my models.
So we're going to switch over here to one that I made for playing Warhammer Darktide with my friends. And again, that's like the coolest thing about this is that you can spin up models really, really fast for if you are, you know, you're doing like a collab, or you're doing games with your friends and you want to have like matching, you want to have matching models, or you want to have matching like avatars, you can do this as well. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do here with that. And also they're really cheap to make if you're to compare them to, you know, Live 2D model. For people that want a little bit more than a PNG, but then they're not really ready to make that leap to VTube Studio, or they just want to make really fast like models for all sorts of little fun stuff, or something more comfortable, because they are a lot easier to puppet/pilot than a Live 2D. So it's really up to that. And you can see that they all have, and you can really set this up however you want. And they track your emotive state as well. And it's just really great for like kind of doing neat things like going AFK. Just very, very cool and interactable. And like I said, I made this for Warhammer. And just to show kind of one that I made for my friend. This one I made for my friend's tabletop session. So she was playing TTRPGs, and if you're looking for one, rpg.angelsword.com is a game that I work on. It's called Angel Sword RPG. Very good combat in the system. So if you're interested in that, come check it out. Free to play, by the way. So me as a tabletop player, these kind of things really help me to get kind of more in the mood, get me more in character. And so this really, really helps out a lot with that. You can add really cool things, like my friend has this, like an item that's really important to her character is a memory bubble, and she's got a little emote where she can bring it up and like kind of look at it, you know, really endearingly.
That is
Remember
cool.
the good times, you know? And you can really do a lot of these custom things with your characters for tabletop games. And again, it's like I said, you can make this for your tabletop characters, something that would be completely ridiculous to do with like Live 2D. And it's a lot more interactive. You can have some cool game mechanic stuff as well for your characters. And it really does makes you feel a lot more like you're in character, which I really like. So she has a staff weapon. She is like a battle mage. So it's got like a little toggle to pull it out. And she can do little spins with it. Just if you want to do something fun. And then when she gets into combat, this is actually an ability that her character has. And you can see like it actually does still have a talking state. So she can talk like when she's ready for battle like this, right? So you can have like states within states, because you can see like she pulls the staff out, and then the staff itself has another animation set within it, like the container of it, right? So you can really use it to really customize and do a lot of really, really cool stuff. And and then you can put it away to go back into your neutral state where you have a lot of your emotes. And you can, again, control a lot of these just with your expression, just your face. And what you're going to want to do when you get into it is you're going to want to, because everyone's face is different, you're going to have to really fine tune it to like what the values look like when you're smiling, when you're sad, you're surprised, when your face is normal, as well as like your mic threshold and like your crossfades, really depending on your character. You're going to want to test it. And it also has SFX volume as well. So you can actually control that. And, I made it with streaming in mind. So, if you have, a really loud animation sound, you can mute it. And you can also just lower the volume. Oh. Anyway, I'm working on this and I'm planning to make it fully online and we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty busy this month, so I don't know when I'll have it done. And a lot of people have been asking me about it, which is why I made this video. I am going to try to have it done in the next couple of weeks, at least to a point that it's available for most people that want to try it out. And I'm going to just release it probably for free. And if anything, I'll probably have some premium options for people that want to host it online. If you want to use it just like how people use reactive images, where you can just have it up on a website and everybody can put it in their browser source. And really the goal is to have it so that you can have like your entire party, like 4 to 5 people on screen, all with these really, really cool animations, like using them to interact and really have a good time. So that's kind of the idea behind it. And I hope you look forward to that. Anyway, have a good one, you guys. Take care.
Okay, yeah, so that's it. And I am really, really looking forward to be able to try that out. Because, Eleanor here, this model is already how I want it. I'm happy with it. But Gabrina and Leanna have upgrades I don't have the ability to do right now. And, I did download Live 2D software to try and, use the free trial to get the rigging and everything set up for their models, because I have all the reference sheet images are ready to go, but the Live 2D did not want to cooperate. So that did not work out. And here we are. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to being able to try this out, and when she's ready to put it out, let her put it out. Software has so many bugs and stuff, and it's like, as I said earlier, today when I first watched this, you rush a game, you're gonna get it buggy as hell. It's not gonna be a good game. The stuff, just take the time to get all the issues out first and then release it. That thing is what? Well, no. The thing is, if you want it done right, you do it yourself. But this is about taking the time to do. Oh, measure, measure, measure twice, cut once. Yes, take your time, do the prep work properly, and then release the software. So I'm okay with waiting. I'm just excited for it. Okay, and that's that one done. Now we're gonna, here's other stuff, like other news things, but I want to watch this. I haven't, because I know, yeah, rush games never work out well. But then again, as an old lady, I was spoiled, and the games are always finished. and they were good. As in, no bugs and stuff. If the game was bad, it was because due to the story and gameplay or whatever, not actual bugs. Yeah. So, but yeah, I was really surprised last week to find out that Rupert Lowe was here in Texas, and I found out he was going to be on the Joe Rogan show. So I want to see what Jake has to say about it.
Joe Rogan's episode with Rupert Lowe is finally up, then I know exactly what we're doing.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
This inquiry report that you have just released, the number, I want you to say it because it sounds so crazy. If I say it, it's going to sound wrong. What the number of people that were victims, the estimate?
Well, we've estimated that a minimum of 250,000 have taken place. It's probably much more, Joe. Because we published in here, I think it's a list of 147 parts of the UK where this is happening. Now, the government tries to tell you it's happening in Rochdale, Oldham, one or two, Bradford, one or two centres. And that's why their statutory inquiry, the terms of reference of that have now been...
Okay, this feels like he's watching the speeded up version.
downgraded, so they make it look as if it's not a systemic problem, but just a little local problem, which it is.
It was confirmed to be nationwide, even in Northern Ireland. It was everywhere.
So we've listed here, and they're all in here, the places where we know it's happening from our gang inquiry. But every time we publish this, Joe, I get people emailing us or sending us messages on social media to say, what about Red Roof in Cornwall? What about it's happening here, it's happening here, it's happening here? So I think it's incredibly widespread. And there's other people who've corroborated that 250,000 figure. That's an incredibly conservative figure. You can't be exact because the state is not collecting the data, which it should be doing.
Which is also the reason why we don't know exactly how many illegal migrants are in the UK, because they're simply just not counting them. There's no reason for them to be counting, or at least releasing these numbers. There's no need for them to be doing that.
We've been lobbying in Parliament to make sure that the state's collection of the data improves, and then we can actually see the extent of the problem, and you can actually pinpoint it in the same way that we've done it in this report. So this is, I think...
Oh, and don't forget, for those of you who don't know, Parliament voted against an official inquiry. They would not do it. And yet, yes, it is my angry voice. That's part of my barely repressed anger voice. They want to complain that it's not an official thing. Over 200 MPs voted against doing an official government inquiry into the rape gangs. Only 100 or so voted for it. Let me go look up the exact numbers. Just gonna say it. Oh no, I'm sorry. 364 members of parliament voted against official government inquiry. Only 111 voted for it. And I am angry. I am very angry. Breathe. Breathe. And that is your proof that it's government sanctioned. They don't view it as important. They will slam Rupert Lowe's report as not official and blah blah blah, but they don't want official. They don't care. So there we go. That is it. And if you'll notice also here, the amendment was attached to the Children's Well-Being in Schools Bill, a key piece of child protection and education legislation. Yeah, Yeah, that's their answer to children's well-being is not to inquire into children getting assaulted. Yeah. And yes, I have many angry thoughts right now, but let's continue.
I think it's linked to organised crime. I think it's linked to the drug trade. I'm pretty sure it's linked to the drug trade, and obviously it's linked to prostitution. So as usual with an evil like this, and you've got girls who are transported around in the back of pickups and cages, and at our gang inquiry we had examples of girls who were by dogs and filmed, either anally raped or vaginally raped, and literally watched, filmed, and a lot of it's about servitude and about, there's other.
A lot of it is filmed, yeah. A lot of the gang that happen at the hands of migrants are filmed on their phones and then shared with the other migrants in the hotel.
Stories in here about women having to lick the feet of their. It's about power. It's about servitude, and it's about the fact that Muslim men are taught to believe that they are superior, not only to women, but they're superior to people like yourself and myself, who are considered to be, if you like, the infidels, and their job is to effectively spread Islam. And effectively punish the infidel. And as you probably know, in the Crusades, if you lost to Saladin and you were a Knights Templar, a Crusader, you had two choices. You either converted to Islam or they killed you. And in the case of a lot of them were made pregnant, they were impregnated, and they then had to convert to Islam. Some of them were trafficked to Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, other parts of the world. So look, I mean, this is a massive national scandal. And I'm hoping, now I'm an MP, we've written this report, and this should stimulate debate. We sent a copy of this on a PDF to every MP, and we're going to send this printed copy to all of them as well. Because everybody in power should look at this, and they should start to correct it immediately.
You use the term is used, gang. Why are you saying gang? And this is an organized practice?
Yes.
So it's not as simple as Islamic men are raping poor white girls.
Yeah, this was the point, right? It's not just a series of coincidental gangs that exist, or groups that exist in various different neighborhoods or anything. It's an organized gang.
It's that they go out in gangs specifically for this purpose.
These are properly organized gangs who are grooming and abusing young girls as young as 10 or 11, and then literally trafficking them around.
Yeah, and there was something else I was just gonna say, and I'm trying to remember related to this, because yeah, this is. Oh, now I remember. Yeah, okay. What's funny is you hear, like here in the I think you hear it more in the U.S. because, well, A, that's where I am. But a lot of the women were complaining, the Christian right, as they would call them, they're the reason we would have the Handmaid's Tale future in the U.S. It's because of those people. But as I recall, I've never read the book. I didn't watch a TV series. Not my thing. But the oppressive future, as I recall, I saw stuff about the author basing the oppression of women in Gilead in The Handmaid's Tale on Sharia law. That is where it came from. It wasn't Christianity that did that in that fictional universe. So everyone complaining that's what Christianity wants? No, it ain't. No, it is not. And moving back to the interview.
And the country. We know that from the testimonies we've had. So originally, when I went into Parliament, I was elected late. So I was elected in July 24. So at the tender age of 67. We heard them being referred to as Asian grooming gangs, which I think is a misnomer because it's unfair on, for instance, the
It's subversive. They're trying to subvert the conversation about the very specific type of Asian that's doing it, and instead becoming using an ambiguous term like Asian.
Japanese or other Asian cultures who don't do this.
Mm-hmm.
So when we, thanks to Elon Musk, we actually did, and as you're quite right, thanks to him giving us a free speech platform, and Facebook's thankfully followed as well, so he's led the charge through his purchase of what was Twitter. So when I gave a speech in Parliament where I said they're not Asian grooming gangs. I'm going to call them what they are. They're Pakistani Muslim gangs. So I said this in Parliament. So James.
Just know that saying that in Parliament is like going into the middle of Harlem or something as a white guy and just shouting the N-word as loud as you can.
We better drag it up if he goes on to the, because everything goes into Hansard. And I gave this speech, and it caused shock in the House of Commons. Now, look, I'm not the smartest kid on the block, but what I do in Parliament is I tell the truth. So, I'm only interested in telling the truth and getting to the truth and changing the way in which we govern. That's what I've gone into Parliament for. I haven't gone into this. I give my parliamentary salary to charity. I'm a reasonably successful person who's lived his life. I've been chairman of a football club. I don't know if you're interested in Premier League football, but I was chairman of Southampton, so I built the stadium for Southampton. I used to play competitive hockey, and I built up the youth academy at Southampton. I loved the best day of my life was when we got to the cup final in 2003. We lost 1-0 to Arsenal, but it was the most.
Oh, don't get an Englishman talking about football. Me.
Amazing experience for everybody. So look, I'm not doing this because I want necessarily to be doing it. I'm doing it because somebody's got to do it. And if we're going to change Britain, we've got to get the public to buy into what we're doing. And as I say, I'm not a classic politician. I'm not saying you've got to vote for me. I'm saying that we've got to change Britain by 29, or I think the country, from what I can see, is in terminal decline.
Vindication. Vindicated. Rupert Lowe also believes that 2029 is the breaking point for the UK.
So I sit on the Public Accounts Committee. I see the waste. I see the unaccountability. I see the way in which the civil service does not serve the people which it's supposed to serve. I see our debt rising to nearly 100% of GDP. I see massive misallocation of procurement on our weapons. I see fraud in the judiciary. I see all the things that...
Sounds like you're talking about America.
Well, I'm talking about Britain. I moment, Joe, but I think
it's a widespread problem.
Well, I actually think America.
Also, we're supposed to believe that that's also a coincidence. Oh, I thought you were talking about America. No, I'm talking about Britain. Oh, it sounds very, very similar. Oh, really? What a remarkable coincidence.
Under Joe Biden, probably was
completely unrelated.
Elon and the boys uncovered with US aid and all the misallocation of taxpayer funds all over the world. A lot of it to England. Some of it came to woke causes in England. Mm-hmm. So look, whoever the architects of this are, whether it's the World Economic Forum, whoever they are, whether it's the Bilderbergers, whether it's the Council on Foreign Relations, whether it's whatever malign influence is trying to do.
I think he's using the World Economic Forum as a synonym for people that wear little hats.
We have to collectively try and reverse it. So I'm saying to people, if you want, I will do my damnedest to reverse it. I've run multiple businesses. I was in the City of London for 20 years, so I know about finance, and I will commit to doing whatever I can to reverse this for the British people. But they've got to buy into it, Joe. They've got to buy into it.
Are there people that are in denial that this is happening? That this problem?
Oh, stupid ads. Okay, I don't think they're in denial. Like I said, it's more probable than...
is real?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Labour.
And what do they say?
Well, Labour just tries to look the other way.
It's not that they're ignorant. It is more profitable for them to do nothing and facilitate it. And I have many words I will not say about that.
But when confronted by the numbers, what is their response?
Well, we've been demanding a statutory inquiry, and in the end, we crowdfunded this.
Right. What is their response to that?
Well, their response to this has been pretty muted,
I
Frank.
won't
I mean,
say
the BBC
anything,
haven't covered it at all.
but...
Really?
A national monopolistic broadcaster paid for.
Yep, ignored it entirely. All mainstream media completely ignored this. The only people I saw talking about it were individuals related to mainstream media in the UK, and they were sowing seeds of doubt so that people doubted the legitimacy of these inquiries. Sadiq Khan, a Pakistani man himself, refused the inquiry, refused investigation into the London Borough gangs, insisted there were no gangs. I hope you can see the issue there. If there are no gangs, then why are you denying an investigation?
By a compulsory fee, have not covered this as a matter of public interest, nor of Sky, nor properly of the Daily Telegraph. GB News have covered a tiny. Patrick Christie's covered one evening of it. Now, this is a massive national scandal that deserves a complete and utter airing.
This makes the Epstein files look like a guest list for the Met Gala. It's just not interesting. Comparatively, the gang inquiry makes the Epstein list look like nothing, especially when you consider the amount of victims of this as well.
How does the BBC justify not discussing this?
Well, the
Like,
BBC is part of our problem, Joe. So to your point about, the Democrats.
It's a main propaganda machine. So the BBC, the British Broadcasting Company in the UK, they are one of the trustworthy news outlets that Labour is trying to astroturf while they censor everything else. BBC is one of those is one of those main channels that the Labour government trusts to deliver curated false news to its citizens of the UK. BBC.
And I just want, and that hurts me, not only because the lies and the danger from it, but I am a literary purist snob, and the BBC was always the most faithful when doing literary adaptations and turning books into movies or TV. BBC did it most accurately. And now they just don't care. And so on that scale, I'm pissed off on another level.
Along with ITV and Channel 4 and S4C and all
They
these
don't care.
other mainstream channels, they're the ones that they're trying to amplify by removing independent voices.
The BBC is a deeply malign organisation, so it was set up to inform, educate, and entertain, and it was set up by a man called Reith. And Reith was a highly principled man, and I think at the time it was set up in the 20s, it probably did have a role. But in the digital age, where most of the young people no longer watch their news on the BBC. They get their news from whatever their favourite news channel is, whether it's Breitbart, whoever they go and get it from somewhere else. But if you want to watch sport, or you want to, basically have your TV, you have to pay the TV license.
Certain subset of our society, a large percentage of our society, particularly older people, that things are not legitimate unless they're discussed in corporate media. And that if it's not the New York Times, if it's not on CNN, if it's not, fill in the blank, then it can't be completely legitimate. It has to be a fringe thing. It has to be a conspiracy thing. They still need these sort of legacy establishments to give them the news, because that has been the way they grew up. That has been how they were trained.
Yep.
And in their mind, they don't understand the internet completely.
This is what I was saying as well. The general public literally just won't do anything unless a mainstream media outlet tells them that it's a real thing that they should be upset about. Like, the British public have been trained from the day they were born to not listen to anything from an independent voice until it comes out of, BBC or ITV or whatever. You just don't listen to it.
They don't go on Twitter. And so all that stuff to them is it's just...
Oh, they also try to block Twitter as well. I think they're still trying to do that. Labour government is still trying to block Twitter.
Too fringe. So that's always going to be a problem. And if someone like the BBC doesn't cover this stuff, for a lot of people that are woefully ignorant, they can still kind of claim that ignorance and dismiss it because the BBC isn't covering it.
That's exactly right. I mean, that's a very good summary, because the BBC historically was totally trusted, and their news bulletins were designed, as I say, to be impartial completely. And being a public sector broadcaster, their job was to cover.
It was, yeah. The BBC was originally believed to be impartial, which means they don't care what partisan the news affects or is part of. They will tell you the news if it's real. If the information is real and it's true, they will tell you it regardless of what the political implications of it are. However, that has proven to be not true anymore, where they willfully ignore things that do not serve the Labour Party, which has become the very deeply rooted establishment. It's so deeply rooted that they subsidize a social engineering force that is responsible for manipulating and coercing the British public to believe, think, and act a certain way.
Just like this and create debate. But as we know, monopolies go bad. I mean, monopolies, in my view, are generally a bad thing, particularly in the digital age where, and thanks to Elon Musk and what he did with X, I think he has released free speech. I think he has returned some sort of semblance of people's ability to be able to force debate without being bullied by a monopoly like the BBC. Right. So if I ever get near power, I will responsibly defund the BBC as one of the first things I do. I think the BBC...
Hell yeah. I mean, we've already been defunding the BBC as a collective anyway, right? People all across the UK have been refusing to pay their TV license. We literally need a license for our TV. Do you know that? And that license fee goes towards funding the BBC.
BBC is dripping poison
That
into
is
the veins
weird.
of Britain every day.
What other examples of what the BBC is doing do you think is dripping poison?
Well, I think a lot of their coverage is not objective. It's woke. I mean, they're into all this DEI. They're into obviously the LGBTQ+. They're into all of the things which I think, as we said earlier, probably came from this Democrat period. but it's been happening for a long time. I think if you look at the Labour Party, again, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Fabian Society.
No.
So the Fabian Society...
Oh, here we go. We're getting into the socialist Fabian Party. The Fabian Society, let's go.
Was set up in the 1880s, and it was basically most of the Labour frontbench and most of the Labour Party are members of the Fabian Society. So the Fabian Society, George Bernard Shaw was a member of the Fabian Society. You'll have heard of George Bernard Shaw. So it's the most extraordinary organisation. That their emblem is a wolf in sheep's clothing. As if that doesn't tell you what they're doing.
That's their emblem?
So
Can I see what that looks like?
That's their emblem. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Fabian Society?
The Fabian Society.
I need to see that.
You should have a look at that.
I might have to get a t-shirt.
And shall I tell you what else they were?
I need a t-shirt.
Shall I tell you what else they were? They were eugenicists originally.
Whoa.
Yes.
When?
Well,
how far back?
Bernard Shaw, George
I can't believe Rupert Lowe is talking about the Fabian Society. What a time. I'm voting the shit out of this guy.
Bernard Shaw.
Look at that. That is damn crazy.
Well, everyone should look at the Fabian Society because that runs deep through the veins of Labour.
That is damn crazy.
What do you think of that?
That is damn crazy. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you
Isn't Andy Burnham part of the Fabians? I'm pretty sure he is, right?
just listening to this Fabian Society coat of arms is really a black wolf that has a sheep's body strapped on top of its back, and it's like covering its body. This is insane. That's crazy. What a complete disdain for anybody else's intelligence. Like they're not even trying to hide it. They're just like...
It is arrogant, right? The very nature of the design is incredibly arrogant.
They're all members, the front bench are all members of the Fabian Society. So
that coat of arms
Keir
is...
Starmer is also a member
I need a
of...
t-shirt, Jamie. Please order it.
You want to hold in... You want a Fabian Society t-shirt?
Yeah, just for a goof. I think it'd be hilarious.
But no, so that runs through the Labour Party. So that's all part of it. So I think the agenda...
Yeah, that's the Labour Party. The Labour Party is currently the party that represents Prime Minister.
Has been, to your point, they've infiltrated our education system. And, I'm proud of our history. I mean, Britain...
Yeah, same. So Labour Party is Keir Starmer. The Labour Party also pays for the Behavioural Insights team, BIT. Behavioural Insights team is a team that is specifically organized to conduct social engineering and coercive tactics on the British public covertly to convince them and subvert them and make them believe certain things. And whenever they're presented with certain information, to think a certain way about it without the British public knowing about it. This is on their website. You can read this. And the Behavioral Insights team is owned by a charity company called Nesta, N-E-S-T-A. Nesta is run by a Jew, and it is owned by the Labour Party and represents the Labour Manifesto. So you've got Labour owning something called the Behavioural Insights team, who are responsible for coercing and controlling the British public covertly without them knowing. Anybody knowing. This is also the team that has an adjacent team to it. I can't remember the name of them right now. But people know them as, it was RICU, R-I-C-U, the RICU unit. They're responsible for going out to victims of migrant crimes, white people who have been victims of migrants, and either
Yeah, Henry Nowak, his family got a visit.
Forcing them into not saying anything racially divisive, or straight up writing their victim statements for them that don't blame migrants for the attack. They also work in tandem with things called the Nudge Unit, which as of today still hasn't been officially recognized as something real, but everybody knows about the Nudge Units. Nudge Units being also going out to victims' houses of migrant crimes and being like, if you make this a race issue, we will be back and we will break your legs. The Labour Party is a typical communist movement, are in control of everything, especially the stuff that works covertly to coerce, subvert, and misalign all of the beliefs of the UK against things that are good for them, that are conducive for their culture. The Behavioural Insights team, known unofficially as the Nudge Unit, in the UK-based social purpose organization that generates and applies behavioural insights to inform policy and improve public services following nudge theory. Using social engineering, as well as techniques in psychology, behavioural economics, and marketing, the purpose of the organization is to influence the public thinking and decision-making in order to improve compliance with government policy, and thereby decrease social and government costs related to inaction and poor compliance with policy and regulation. The Behavioural Insights team has been headed by British psychologist David Halpin since its formation. So they literally tell you right there. Psychology, behavioral economics, marketing, and social engineering techniques as a form to influence the public thinking, decision making and to improve compliance with the government. Owned by Nesta. Okay, this is a labor charity. Nesta, formerly Nesta National Endowment for Science, blah blah blah, is a British foundation registered as a charity which supports innovation. Nesta was originally funded by.
Yeah, just kind of how like the SPLC here was funding racist racist groups so they could get more money, they could get more fundraising to fight racism that they were causing. It's that same kind of mentality that they don't really care about they don't want to fix the problem. No, they want to be the problem while claiming to be the solution. Yeah. And it's these kind of days that make you feel like going off into the woods ain't such a bad idea. Almost done. Oh.
A £250 million endowment from the UK lottery. Endowments managed through trust, blah, blah, blah. Nesta was set up in 1998 by an independent endowment established by an act of parliament, the National Lottery Act. It had been a Labour manifesto promise. I will be streaming early tomorrow to pick up exactly where we left off, which is exactly halfway through the Joe Rogan Experience with Rupert Lowe. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning to continue the Joe Rogan Experience with Rupert Lowe so we can truly cover the rest of that.
Okay, so that's done with that one. Yeah, this one I just want to see because, well, this one because it tells you it's gonna love it, but I'm gonna go for a minute and cover more issues that are, yeah, this was another in my Twitter news. More of the same. Yeah, and also this happens here in America too. This ain't just for this. It's happening in all Western countries, as far as I know. Maybe not as widespread in the UK, but it is happening. And there's a lot of people who don't want to have their head in the sand or up someone else's butt or stuck in the money bag. Who knows? But yeah, we're gonna listen to. Let's see. Sorry. Gardaí hunt suspect. The Gardaí hunt suspect in Killarney mother's murder. The post-mortem confirmed severe head injuries from late Monday or early Tuesday, prompting a murder probe led from Killarney Garda Station. A man in his late 20s, oh look, described as Middle Eastern and an asylum seeker. Who could have seen that coming? Yeah. Who knew Kearney and stayed at her home is the main person of interest. He fled before her 13-year-old daughter alerted a family friend who discovered the body. Gardaí have issued alerts at ports and airports, fearing he may flee Ireland, while urging witnesses for dash camera CCTV from Muckross Road. Locals remember Kearney as a healthcare consultant and community fixture, leaving the town in shock. Okay, it said he was staying at her house. Yeah, he'd stayed there. Like how? Was he renting or what was going on? Did she think he was just someone who needed help? Yeah, was she tricked into helping him so he could, yeah. I'm just glad it seems like the 13-year-old daughter is safe. Because that could have been his real target. Just putting it out there. Oh, she was actually born in New York. So she was, yeah, how did she come over here? Oh yeah, it was her, yeah, she was involved with him. Here it says her partner. So, yeah, she was duped. And like I said, I'm just glad her daughter is safe. And that is what, oh yeah, this is the one, I think they were on vacation. I think, maybe, but I'm not sure because it's local, so maybe she had moved there or she was there working, I don't know. Oh, 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 oh. The victim was a radical left-wing activist, and she was involved in pro-Palestinian and anti-ICE causes. Leopards meet face. Hmm. Yes, and now her daughter. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. She just, I hope, like I said, I hope the daughter is better. That's enough. Yeah, so she's New York born. I don't know when she would have come to Ireland, but oh my goodness. Yeah, you can't, you cannot stop these. Yeah, she was deep in her fifis that, okay, that she was doing the right thing and helping out because to show how great she is and how everything's wrong. And yeah, how's that working out for her? Though it also said, also it says she was beaten to death, which that's not a good way to go. So let's go on to something else here. Let's see. There's something. Yeah. Oh, here we are. Yeah. This is Grok 4.5 goes public tomorrow. Okay, here, let's see. Here's everything that's known. The model runs on V9, xAI's new 1.5 trillion parameter foundation, roughly 3 times the size of the V8 small architecture behind Grok 4.3. It's the largest model the company has shipped, trained on Blackwell GPUs at the Colossus cluster in Memphis. Okay, what is... Okay, I have no idea what Blackwell GPUs are. Let's look. I have no idea what that means in anything. NVIDIA, okay. Alright. Successor to Hopper and Ada Lovelace microarchitecture. Okay. It's NVIDIA. Alright, well that is something. And yeah, behind Grok 4.3. Largest, oh yeah, here's where it was. Coding is a clear focus. Cursor's developer data was added in supplemental training and reinforcement learning, improving the model daily alongside the Grok build harness. Next foundation model already in training will have cursor data included from the start of pre-training. Elon calls it Opus level and says it's faster, more token efficient, and cheaper. It's been in private beta at SpaceX and Tesla since June 28th, with early internal evals reportedly at or above that mark. Public benchmarks land once the model does. This is the first flagship under SpaceXI since the merger, and the plan is a from-scratch foundation model shipping every month through the end of 2026. Tomorrow we get to use it. Okay, and then someone up here said it's not the same as Claude Opus 4.7. I have no idea. These are all technical terms I do not know. Okay, so yeah, that's what's going on. Okay, more notifications, but what else is going on? Oh. Oh yeah, okay, well I want to see this right now. I've been saving this for a while, and I want to know what's going on.
All right, back home from Anime Expo. The last 4 videos or so were pre-recorded last week because I was going to be away. And thank you guys for your patience. I have returned. AX 2026 was very fun, although there were some issues with the event and some.
Gotta move my thing back. Just a minute. I gotta move it back over here. Move this back over here out of the way. There we go. There we go. Did not want that in the way. That's kind of rude.
Some of the people that showed up to AX, which I might talk about tomorrow or later this week. Nevertheless, I hope you guys have had a lovely weekend and a lovely 4th of July. And let's have a great week. On my first video back, I'm actually very lucky because this is a Hassan related video, and Hassan topics are always so easy, such easy content. Pictures of Hassan have resurfaced from 2023 where, yeah, you know, he's got this fake blood. This is, for the YouTube people, this is not real. This is like a, you know, it's a photo shoot thing. It's not real blood. And by YouTube people, I mean the people that check to be sure we're following the policy stuff. And how did we get here, you might be wondering? Well, let me preface this by saying, how is it that, like, to this day, there are still random Hassan pictures that come out where he's just doing, like, the cringiest thing imaginable? Whether it's the old picture of, like, the tax the rich thing that he wore, or some of the more recent pictures that you've seen, and now this, like, it just never ends with this guy. But it gets even better when you see the context of these pictures.
Yeah, okay, just a minute. I gotta... Bad.